Hey, it's Corey here. I'm trying something a little bit different, so give me a second to kind of get set up here and see if I can get. Oh, yeah, I'm live. Can you see me? Yay, okay. All right. Okay, so hello. It's October. I wasn't here last week. It's been a crazy couple weeks here in Las Vegas this month. So I apologize for not being around, but I'm here this month now, a little bit late, to introduce our theme of vulnerability. And I love so much what's coming out of this month at Inside8.com. And so I wanted to share that with you a little bit and give you some of my thoughts on vulnerability. If you've checked out the blog so far, you already know what's there. But if you haven't, let me give you an update on what's on the blog this week. The first is, or I guess it'd be the second thing if you look on there, but the earlier of the two that I'm going to talk about today is Weathering the Storm by Sean, who's our founder, the brilliant Sean Murphy. And I was looking through his blog on Weathering the Storm, and I think it is such a great example of vulnerability because it really shows, first of all, it shows his vulnerability. It really tells his story of how he started Inside8 and where we've come from and where we're going. And I'm such a proud part to be part of the team that he talks about. So it's a really cool blog about just the challenges that we face in life and overcoming them and maybe just sort of wallowing in them. We don't always know what the answer is going to be as we're going through and just sort of being in it, being in the storm and being in the chaos sometimes. The second is by Mar, the beautiful bride this week. She wrote a great blog on preserving vulnerability and the link between mindfulness and vulnerability and how those things really go hand in hand and how in a lot of ways you have to be mindful in order to be vulnerable because you're putting yourself out there and it's a hard thing to do. And Mar talks about Brene Brown. Brene Brown has a really cool book, excuse me, that I've sort of skimmed parts of, but she also has this really, really great YouTube clip that she did a TED Talk. So I'm going to post in the comments Brene Brown's Power of Vulnerability. So you should definitely check that out. It's an awesome 20 minutes. If you spend any time on Facebook looking through videos like me, you probably spend 20 minutes a day looking at stuff. Look, you're doing it right now. So check out that video by Brene Brown. It's a really worth the 20 minutes to watch it. And I was thinking about sort of some of my favorite takeaways from that video. I've talked about a couple of them before. One is about selectively numbing emotion. Our emotion is not I guess it is sort of like a faucet. You can't just turn off half the water. It's either coming out or it's not. And that's sort of like sad emotion and happy emotion. You have to feel, to be fully human, you have to feel the full range of emotion. And she also, I just love that. I use that all the time. But she also talks about courage. And I think in vulnerability, you have to have courage. And she talks about the courage to be imperfect because that is what really at the core of vulnerability, the courage to be imperfect, to show your sort of cracks and your things that you're maybe not the most proud of, and to be loved for those things. And to be able to do that, you have to have compassion for yourself. And you cannot have, as Brene Brown talks about, you cannot have compassion for others unless you have compassion for yourself. You can't fill someone else's bucket unless your bucket is full. And she really sort of connects that, the core of that, to the ability to connect through others because of your authenticity, because of your courage to be imperfect, because of your compassion towards yourself and others, you're able to connect on this real, true, authentic level. And, that's my favorite thing about the Insiders and this community that we've created is this space to be vulnerable and to look at, who am I when I'm at my best and who am I when I'm at my worst and what sort of things kind of maybe precipitate being at your worst and what causes you to be at your best. And so I love this month that we get to talk about this space and this space to be vulnerable and this space to be yourself. And so I'm really excited about the conversation this month, as I'm excited every month by the themes that we've created. And so let's talk about vulnerability. And I know that it's not an easy thing to talk about. It's hard. It's hard to be open and to open yourself up to the potential criticism. I feel like I'm sort of setting up my new blog that I've finally written a new blog and it'll be out here soon. So I don't want to give too much away about that, but keep an eye out on the blog for that as well. So that is what I have for you. My Motivational Friday, my first blog of October, my talking about vulnerability is, it's hard to take that risk. It takes courage to be imperfect. It takes courage to show yourself. And there's got to be people and things that make you doubt that and challenge that vulnerability and make you want to shut down. And at the same time, the only way to have authentic connections and fulfilling connections with other people is to be authentically you and to find the people who accept that person and accept those traits. So that's what I've got for you. I'm Corey Kuhn now. It's great to be with you, and I am so excited to see you next week. Keep an eye out for my blog, and go check out the blogs that are up at inside8.com. Take the test. Let me know what it means for you to get those results, because I think, really the only way to learn about your Inside 8 personality results is to talk about it. The reading the description is so useful, and yet it didn't click for me what it meant to be a nourisher until I had talked about it and I had lived it and I had experienced what it meant in that moment, and sort of how I interact and how the people in my life who are originators and harmonizers and ideators, how they see the world differently. And that's really the way that you get something out of Inside 8. So be an insider. Join me. Join us. Bye.